Reclaimed Baits. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, yeah, absolutely. So I'm super intrigued. I come across you on Facebook with, Reclaimed Baits, and I watched a little bit of it, and I'm like, man, I got to get you on the show. We've got to kind of drill down and figure out what this is all about. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how we came about what we're doing here.
So back in 2019, I started noticing a lot of baits littered around our local ponds and lakes, and I started collecting them. And I did some research and found out that you could actually melt them down and then make new baits out of them. So I started doing that, and that's where we came from, and that's where the name Reclaim Baits comes from.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, we walk around the shores of, Margarita, anywhere for that matter, and you always come, fishing lines, and you see like these things just trashed, sticking out of the ground or something like that. And so you started collecting them.
Yep. Yeah.
And then at what point did you go, what can I do with all this stuff?
So as I was collecting them, I kind of would, just mess with them and be like, there's got to be something else you can do with these, So
what was your first thought?
My first thought was, I wish that these fishermen or whoever's out there would clean up after themselves, but
naturally.
But my second thought was, there's got to be something else I can do with them. And doing research, I was able to find out that you could indeed like melt them down and reuse them.
So does other people, I mean, through your research, does other people do this? Is there other organizations or other businesses like yourself?
I'm not sure if there's another business that does that, but I know that people do that,
Huh.
Yeah.
And so obviously you were a fisherman, or
Yes.
are a fisherman, I should say were, but so you're a fisherman, and you utilize these lures and so forth. And so you're walking around, you see these things, you're like, hey, I got to figure out how to reutilize these. And here comes Reclaimed Baits.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, that is so intriguing, man. I mean, of repurposing the lures.
Yes.
And so, okay, so you come up with all these. So we have what, 1, 2. So these are considered a freshwater type lure set.
Yes.
And these are all made by you.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Even down to the hooks.
Yes.
Right? So tell me the story about the hooks. I mean, you even make these things.
Yes, I do. So with those, I don't actually make the hook, but I do the whole jig. I'll pour the lead, I'll powder coat the outside of it, and then kind of the same way that I do the plastic, except it's just done with lead. Yeah.
That is so insane. And so, so the purpose obviously is this to clean up our shores and whatnot. But the other purpose obviously is to give your fishermen an option for something that's more specific to our area.
Yes.
So these are more specific to our lakes of where we live.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit about which ones are, timing, because everything has like a little bit of like, you utilize this one like in the afternoon when the fish are, waking up or, something like that. Yeah. But what are some of the reasoning why you made what you made?
So I'm inspired a lot by nature. So like I'll see the bass feeding on shad, and I'll make these right here. And then during the fall or going into the winter time, I'll see little claws of crawdad, on the side of the lake, and I'll be like, all right, they're eating the craws, and then I'll make a red bait. So I think a lot of that has to do with what I'm throwing, or, you kind of look around and see what the bass or what the fish are eating.
You're almost like investigating the fish of what they're eating and what their hot items are.
Yes. Yeah.
So does any of these like float on the water, or can you make something that floats on the water, more of like a fly type, or how does that work?
There is, depending on what kind of bait plastisol you use, but yeah, there is like some that you can make that could make it float, but these are more for swimming and staying low.
So these are obviously going to make great Christmas gifts. this year, right? So we got to make sure that people get these for your fishermen, you know, your kids, your loved ones and whatnot. But when you make these baits, so I saw the mold. So the mold, you have like this little stainless steel like mold maker for each one of these items, right?
Yeah.
And you're injecting them with like a syringe type.
Yes.
Right. And so what's the process? How long does it take? I mean, what's the curing process of that?
It usually takes about 2 hours just to pour.
Okay.
So like you'll get the plastisol to the right temperature. Once you hit that temperature, you know, you add your coloring in, then you inject it. You let that cool for a little bit, you know, you take it out. And then what I do is I do like a 24-hour set time. And then after that, they'd be good to go. Yeah.
And so how do you come up with the colors based on, because you got glitter in these as well. So what's your method of thought?
Like I said, nature. And then also, so I usually fish 3 different things. I'll do like something dark, something that pops, and something more natural. But I just go after that, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so now are people giving you like, say, I mean, used, like where they're giving you bags? Hey, Tim, I got a bag of, old lures and stuff for you.
Yeah. I mostly my fishing buddies, but what I actually want to start is I want to actually start like a program where if you give me like old used baits, like maybe like a Ziploc bag amount, like I'll in turn in a couple months give you those same baits, but made new again.
No kidding. I mean, so your first phase out making your own bait. Okay, you researched this. You said, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Tell me what the first batch was like. How'd that play out?
So the first batch was a recycled batch, and the first thing I thought when I started making them was like how smoky it was, you know, because it was old plastic. You know, I don't know how long it's been sitting there in the lake and pond, but it was a mess, you know, and it takes learning because, you know, that plastic it cools down real fast. So once it cools down, you know, you got to reheat it again and start all over.
But did you have a mold, the very first one that you did, or did
I did, yeah.
So you already had the mold made, or so you were already thinking ahead of this?
Yeah, I had researched it ahead of time and I took it really slow because bait making is pretty expensive. You know, like the molds are pricey, so I had a lot of time to research everything before I started.
So before you weren't antsy, just I'm just going to melt these down and see what happens and turn into a big jelly mold.
Yeah. Well, and you got to get it above 350 and liquids being that hot, you know, I didn't want to take any chance burning myself, or I wanted to do it as safe as I could, you know.
And do they all melt the same? Like, is different lures? I mean, there's harder ones, there's softer ones, there's more like these are pretty rubbery.
Yeah. When you're working with the older baits, like recycling, it gets a little trickier. You got to be more careful. You know, there's like air inside the bait. Sometimes there's water, so it's trickier to work with than new plastisol. But yeah.
And so these ones, right? Which ones these are reclaimed, right?
Yeah. Those ones, and then also the black in here and the darker green. Yeah.
And so these are 100% recycled.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can't, I mean, they smell like they're brand new.
Yeah.
And that's just the plastic and the scent of the, what is it? What did you say it was made out of?
It's bait plastic. Yeah.
So that is 100% reclaimed fishing material.
Yeah. I do add a little bit of new in there just because that stuff could actually burn off if it heats up too quick. So by adding a little bit of new extra, like it kind of like balances out a little more. Yeah.
Is there any benefit? You know how you see like dog bones that have like flavors? Is there any benefit to put flavor into these things? Or can you?
Some people do that. Yeah, I could actually add scent to it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so amazing. I'm super excited about this, and I'm super excited that, you know, the idea. I mean, the ideas like this come out of just nowhere. You know, it's like, hey, somebody thinking about this. Somebody thinking, hey, how can we reutilize this trash and go in our landfills and stuff like that? And you're like, hey,
thank you.
Can you use anything else like plastic wise to make these?
No,
it's only these baits. So you can't use any other,
No.
I don't even
Type
know
of
what else.
plastic,
Yeah. Any other type of
Yeah.
recycled or reclaimed material.
No.
So where does Reclaimed Baits go from here? So we need to get in some stores,
Yeah.
right? We need to get in some locations.
Yeah.
And so what's the long-term plan and goal for Reclaimed Baits?
Eventually I would like it to be, like my main job that I would do,
Right.
that would be my goal, my long-term goal. But being in stores would be awesome. Having a little shop would be awesome as well.
So right now, where can they find you right now? Just by your website?
My website, my Instagram. I have a Facebook page as well.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it.
And you do distribute. You said you distribute a little bit in Texas.
Texas, Utah, Florida.
Back on the East Coast. Huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. So, Tim, tell our viewers how. I mean, give them everything. How can we get to you?
So, I do a lot of posting on Instagram. That's kind of my main thing there.
Okay.
I kind of post videos on me making stuff, the newest stuff that I have out. Just explaining my kits, how to use them properly. I think that's what I use the most.
Is Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram.
Okay,
yeah.
And you're right here. You're a North County native.
Yep, North County native.
You live here in town.
Yep.
Right, and so all these things are made in town, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so this is 100% local, 100% recycled, which everybody likes.
Yeah.
And I mean, right here, how much are these?
Those are $25.
$25 for this gift right here, right? And these are going to make awesome stocking stuffers, Christmas and throughout the year, right? Awesome. So what's your phone number? How can I get a hold of you with the phone number? You got a phone number?
805-215-2780.
Okay. Yeah. And reclaimedbaits.com?
Reclaimedbaitsca.com.
CA.
CA, yeah.
Reclaimedbaitsca.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tim, thanks for coming on and sharing.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we can get a lot more interest in your baits and, get these things into stores for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate
awesome. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning in to What's Up North County and learning about this Reclaimed Baits. Such a cool concept, guys. You got to get yourself some. reclaimedbaitsca.com. Make sure you get these for your Christmas, your loved ones, your friends, your family, all that stuff, because these are really, really cool. So the idea of it is awesome. So as always, we'd like to thank our sponsors. We'd like to thank Wine Travelers Hideaway, Escalar Wines, Rancho Sestero Meat Cutting, Pillar Real Estate, and 805 Customs, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.